Hello everyone, good morning. It's nice to see you. Namaste. आपसे मिलकर मुझे बड़ी खुशी हुई. So the first question for this session is career or education break a good or bad thing? I used to think that it is good, it can be beneficial if you plan it, if you expect it, if you have a chance to analyze pros and cons. It was, in this scenario, it was pretty obvious and pretty easy for me to see the benefits, to focus on benefits and accept the challenges. Let me look when we started. Okay. Yeah, and this is my case with 1 month truancy in Himalayas. Tomorrow at this hour, I will be flying to Mumbai, India. And it reminds me of my first travel to this part of the world. I was 18 actually. I'm sorry for the mistake because in the description it was 19, but then I counted everything once again. Yeah, and I was 18. My Matura exam was on the horizon, and my boyfriend, who was 10 years older than me, couldn't stand the fact that we will be separated for several weeks because of his high mountain exploration expedition. So he suggested I should join him. It was pretty obvious for him. The first option was I would go with him, make trekking with him and his mountain team, and we'll wait in the base camp until he is done with the climb. But it meant we will be separated for some time anyway, and it also meant a longer break at my school. And the second option was he would go with his mountain team, and I would go independently, and we would meet somewhere on the 3,600 meters above the sea level in Namcha Bazar. And we will continue on some trekking, on some hiking, easier peaks together. And the second option seemed much better because the break at school would be shorter. So I decided to leave home independently. I decided to go alone. Everything went great, actually. It was a great adventure indeed. My father was even proud of me because he was the one who taught me how to tie a rope, how to pitch a tent. He was the one who showed me the mountains. He was proud. He shared the maps with me. He shared the guidebooks. He told me how to plan everything to not be lost during my travel. My mother was a bit scared. I think she was really scared. She probably felt anxiety, but she was fully supportive. She went to the headmaster of my school, and she made them sure that I will be fine, both personally and with the education progress. With her charm and big smile, I guess it was easy. Yeah, but she was scared. And I feel think what I felt and this moment we call nowadays empowerment. So I felt very empowered with this support, with this belief that I will be fine, and that I just would do it, right? So nothing wrong could happen. I wouldn't probably done it without many friendly people met on my way. But I guess I believe it is how it works. So you can take the challenge, sometimes very difficult challenge, and it doesn't mean that you cannot ask for help, right? So you can always ask for help. Yeah, and we had a wonderful time. It was my first time in Asia. So I was fascinated by India and Nepal and the Himalayas. I was fascinated by people living there. I was fascinated by big adventure. And when I was back to school, I was 100% prepared to show everyone it was worth to let me go. So my grades probably then were even better than usual. Yeah, so it was the first scenario. Something expected, something planned. You can analyze pros and cons. You can focus on benefits. You can accept challenges. It's quite easy. But then there is another scenario. So something unexpected happens. You cannot analyze pros and cons. You cannot plan everything because you don't expect it, right? You don't know them yet. You don't know pros and cons. And I used to think if something unexpected happens, it's bad. Like unexpected break is bad and cannot be beneficial and is like breaking, right? The break is breaking me. So, yeah. And this story, in my case, also starts romantically because I passed Matura exam. I got married. We traveled a lot through Kyrgyzstan, Russia, many countries in Europe, through Alps, Tatra Mountains, Tian Shan Mountains. Yeah, we had many great moments and experiences. Yeah, it was great. Many beautiful places, many wonderful climbs, many charmful hiking trips, trekking, etc. And then after 1 year, around 1 year, our first daughter was born. And it was during my first exam session at university. So my mother was waiting just next to the doors when I was on the exam, just to be there with my daughter because I was feeding her, right, this time. Yeah, and I wasn't 100% prepared to be so young mom. Yeah. But I was 200% happy and fulfilled with my beautiful family. I was very, very happy. But then, after 1 month, my husband died. When my daughter was 1 month, my husband died, and I became a widowed studying mom, which I hated really strongly. Yeah. I hated it really, really much. And then I thought, okay, so now I cannot take a break because if I take a break, I will not survive it. Yeah, and there is third scenario I would like to talk about today. So something unexpected happens, but in my case, I had some time to prepare for it. So this, in the second story, I didn't have time to prepare for it, and I couldn't stand it that I could take a break, right? And in this story, again, something unexpected happened, but I had some time to prepare, to analyze those pros and cons, to think about it, to plan it somehow. So again, I was happy again. I have beautiful family, and I was happy again, really happy. And then I was pregnant again, which I was dreaming about. I didn't want my daughter to be alone. I wanted her to have a sister or brother. So I was pregnant, and very quickly it turned out that my second child is terminally ill. So she was not going to live longer than several hours, maybe several days, maybe weeks. At that time, I decided to take a break. I had some experience in losing someone I loved really much. And I thought, I want this break. I want to stop the world. And I want to welcome my second daughter. I want to say hello to her. I want to be with her as long as she will be alive. And I also want to say goodbye. And want to have the space to be there. She lived for 3 hours. So I took a break to just feel sad because of this death, which was very sad for our family. I also wanted to have this break to feel calm because of uncanny and beautiful moments we had with my husband and with our small daughter, newborn daughter. And those were beautiful moments. So I wanted to feel them for longer and think about them. And I also wanted to have this break to soothe the pain of my older daughter, as she, the pain and also big disappointment because she didn't have a chance to meet her younger sister. So I also wanted to have a space for it. And then guess what? All three of us, we went to Asia again. It was probably 10th time or even more than when I was traveling to Asia. I feel like we needed this space and some distance to this situation, which was very difficult for us. Okay, and probably you will ask how it connects to professional growth. I used to think that breaks, especially unplanned breaks, unexpected breaks, were uncalled for. So that those breaks were something that make me less professional, less competent because of some professional opportunities I lost, because of some career time I have lost. So I used to think, it just makes me less professional, less competent. And then I was getting older.
I wasn't 18 anymore. I wasn't 20 anymore. I wasn't even 25 anymore. And I started to see that other people also have these stories. So their professional careers also aren't so smooth, so simple, so predictable, so expected. They also have some turbulences, I would say. They also have some limitations. They also have some events in their lives. And it doesn't make them less professional, actually, and less competent, because still, even if they lose something, they get also some very, very developing experience. So it also somehow shape them as people. Yeah, so I started to think about those breaks, not only about something like lost, but also about something like experience that can be helpful on my way. And there are some lessons learned from the breaks that I took, but also from the breaks that I didn't let them to happen. Because you remember, there were some situations that I didn't let the break to happen. Yeah, so first lesson is empowerment. I felt empowered from early age, and and I think it helped me to choose my way. I was really fascinated by India, Nepal, and the Himalayas cultures, and this is how my university path was chosen, and how I became intercultural trainer, business trainer later. Second lesson is break isn't or shouldn't be or doesn't have to be a synonym for a lost. So sometimes less time means better organization, more motivation, and also more consciously made decisions. And when I went to Asia for the first time, for the second time, for the third time, etc., I was really fascinated and inspired by something what we call holistic approach patterns, holistic thought patterns. So people in Asia, in India, in Nepal, see a person as a wall. Like if they look at a professional employee, they don't look only at their job or at task she or he is supposed to do, but they also look at the person's story, background, other things that are important for this person. I felt like I was going out from some bubble, because it is very often during my trainings, it is very strange for people from Europe that people from Asia, for example, from India, talk about family issues, about personal issues at work. But it is how it works. And I really like this perspective, because we are all human. We are not only going to the work, but we also have our problems, our stories, our families, our personal limitations, our dreams. Yeah, we have dreams. And so third lesson learned from those breaks is asking for help. So I knew for a long time that I won't join IT. Yeah, I met so many people from IT world, and I could see me there. I wasn't a software engineer, of course, so it wasn't so obvious, but I felt like there are also other roles, maybe some roles for me as well. And I started to ask which of my skills could refer to those roles available on the market, which skills I should work on, which books I should read next. And then I took a piece of paper and I even wrote this year, it was January, this year I will get a job in IT. It was funny because I didn't have anything actually, like from logical perspective, to get this job. And guess what? 8x later, I got a first job in IT. And it showed me that asking for help and asking what I could improve, what I could learn, helped me really much to get this first job in IT. And then we smoothly can go to the next lesson, so focusing on your goal. So please don't let all doubts overwhelm you, because probably in your heart there are still some dreams and some goals you really want to get. Even earlier than dreaming about IT career, I was dreaming about being something like university teacher, someone like business trainer, even if I didn't know that some role like this exists in the world. I was dreaming to become someone who will help people to learn and grow. And I had totally no idea how to get there. And my first client called me because they read in some internet research that I was talking about Bangladesh, travel to Bangladesh on some travel festival. So this is how I got my first intercultural job. And the last lesson is to accept the decisions you make. So sometimes you want to take a break, and you will. Sometimes you are not sure. Sometimes you want to take a break, but you cannot afford it because, let's say it loudly, you have to have money to live, right? You have to have this time to do it. You have to have space. So it's not always possible. I feel like when I was 18, it was much, much easier to take a break. It is not so easy today when I have 2 kids, when I have home, when I have a stable life. It's not so easy to take a break anymore. So I think it is the most important to accept the decisions you made. Even you are not 100% that those decisions are right, because sometimes you are not sure. So is career break a good or a bad thing? I think there is no question, no answer like yes or no. This is a very difficult question still. And I think we all should listen to our hearts and try to follow our dreams, because they are still there in our hearts. But probably there are also other values, other people we want to care for. So accept your decisions whenever you take a break or not. Thank you.